They are just some movies that are meant to be experienced in the cinema, on the biggest screen available to you, IMAX worthy. This year's movie that fits that description amazingly is F1, the movie. Let's gear up and get into it. What's up, everybody? Today we're here to talk about the feel-good movie of the year, according to me at least, F1, the movie. Starring none other than Brad Pitt, Javier Bardem, Kerry Condon, Damson Idris, and company. The story follows Brad Pitt's character, Sonny Hayes, who used to be a driving prodigy and the best back in his day. Reckless, defiant, but talented nonetheless. Brad Pitt's Sonny Hayes is brought back into the fold by his longtime friend and fellow former racer Ruben, Javier Bardem's character, who is in dire straits with his F1 team and needs that special something that hopefully Brad Pitt's character has in spades. And also maybe, just maybe, Sonny Hayes can have one last fleeting chance at chasing unprecedented glory. How many of us would love to have that chance, that one chance? Just one chance! And prove at one point in time he was the best in the world at something. So Javier Bardem's character invites Sonny Hayes to come and be the second to their young, arrogant, cocky, still got a lot to learn number one, played exactly how he needs to be by Damson Idris. At times you just want to tell him, yell at him, would you please shut the f up and listen? We are trying to help you. But I guess the enjoyment comes when he absolutely does not want to listen. And now we set off on a movie about a young cocky driver that doesn't want to take advice from the old yet experienced cocky driver because the young hotshot driver believes he's a natural, just like the old hotshot driver used to think he was back in the day. Sometimes a movie like this can do one of two things. Follow all the typical tropes and cliches a movie of this genre does, and it ends up being a movie you come out saying, I've seen it all before. Or two, you can't come out of it saying it did have the somewhat predictable cliches and tropes a racing movie like this is going to have. And I saw a lot of the things coming a mile away, no pun intended, but was still nevertheless invested because of the level of care taken into presenting likable, relatable characters played by all-time charismatic actors with exhilarating, adrenaline-pumping racing scenes that were done using the best possible camera work accentuated by seamless CGI on actual racing tracks that put you in the driver's seat. To feel the fuel coursing through your veins, making you, the audience, feel like one of the pit crew themselves. This movie drifts nicely into that second category. Pun intended. This movie was absolutely one of the very best experiences I have had in the cinema all year. Maybe even last year. I sometimes have trepidation going into a film everybody is hailing as the next greatest thing that's ever been filmed or will be filmed. I went into this film with that kind of hype looming over it. And I'll be damned if it didn't live up to it, or surpass it really. That's not easy to do nowadays, period. So let's start with the overwhelming positives I have for this movie. I think the cast all round was very good. Good is selling it lightly. They were excellently chosen. Having Brad Pitt in the lead makes absolute sense as the older, grizzled, experienced, and still handsome. I'm straight, people. I make a straight line look crooked. But man, this guy has still not lost his looks. This is him in Legends of the Fall. This is him in F1. Damn! God loves you, my friend. Yes, he does. He plays a former best of the best.
Best of the best of the best.
And that's what I said. His character lives a nomadic lifestyle looking for the next thrill, the next race, the next adventure. And he is unquestionably the solid anchor and heart of this movie. And you can't go wrong with Brad Pitt any day of the week. Javier Bardem plays his all-time friend that comes to entice him back into the fray, into the life he thought would never come calling again. And Javier Bardem is just an actor that has so much damn charm in him, whether he's playing a good guy or a bad guy. It's kind of annoying, really. I mean that as a compliment. Some of the best scenes in this movie, other than the racing, of course, is when Javier Bardem's character loses his temper. They were kind of funny. Kerry Condon plays an engineer on the team, and a will they, won't they character for Brad Pitt. Woman, you made eye contact with the man. There isn't no will they, won't they. It's more in line with, are we doing this now, or are we doing this later?
I am inevitable.
Yes, you are. And then we have Damson Idris, who plays the new, young, bold, rash, won't take sound advice when it's given to him, brat of a driver. The actor does exactly what he needs to do for us to look at him and shout at the screen. If you just listen, you stubborn, egotistical, self-absorbed prick, you might get somewhere. But how are you supposed to show growth if from the get-go you don't leave room for evolution? I get it. But he was still a prick nonetheless. At the start. He ends up being a character that actually learns from his horrible ways and actually became a character that I kind of rooted for. When an arc is done well, that's what happens. But without the shadow of a doubt, this movie shines the most during the racing scenes, and it's the reason you bought a ticket to go and see this movie. So good! It should go without saying when you have the same creative team from Top Gun Maverick coming back to dip their toes in Formula One driving. That's what got me so excited. And damn, when I say damn, I mean damn! Those racing scenes were off the hook. The whole time you're watching the races swaying back and forth, left to right, right to left, telling yourself, whoa, dodge that. Whoa, did you see that, man? We almost hit that. Escaping in the scene completely, living vicariously through the characters, as movies are supposed to do. The reason we go to them, the reason we go to movies is to escape our mundane lives. Until we can afford yachts and mansions and first-class worldwide travel, movies are all we got, people. Those things are coming in the future. I swear. I hope so. I know it. But until then, please keep giving us cinema experiences like this. I need it. We need it. Just keep giving it to us. This is the template of how to make a movie for everybody. And for someone that knows close to nothing about Formula One, learning all the lingo related to it was the most fun I've ever had, being educated with exposition. Changing the aerodynamics of the car to make it more combat-based than speed-based, or trying to find that middle ground because you definitely need speed. How some races can be lost, but if you win the other ones, it can keep you afloat. How one of the two drivers can feel like they're being used and are there to prop up the number one, even if they might have the opportunity to actually beat them and have to sacrifice their individual glory. If anything I'm saying is off the mark, please let me know in the comments because I would love to know. All that was fascinating to me. Sometimes in sports movies, when the actual sport isn't happening, you kind of get that itch to want to get back to the action. The downtime in this movie learning about the car and the sport kept me glued to the screen. Had me going, cool, what else?
Would you like to know more?
Yes, I would. So having that level of engrossment in the movie during what should be called the talky exposition scenes with no going on, good job, cast and crew. And one of the most amazing things about this movie and the sport, or should I say any team sport in general, is how everybody needs to come together. It needs to work in unison, becoming symbiotic. Everybody bringing the person behind them up rather than ridiculing them. And the evolution of the team from where they are at the beginning to where they are at the end was one of the most heartwarming and strongest aspects of this movie. You start to care more than a little about the people on the pit crew. The crew in general. Just as much as you care for Brad Pitt, if not the same by the end. And how sometimes in life, people don't always automatically jive with one another. And other times, people, a team, can be missing one key component, which is a good leader to guide them through the thick and thin. And Brad Pitt's character, Sonny Hayes, serves as that. And I don't want to sound sappy, but it started to feel like a family by the end of it. And gosh darn it, I loved it for it. There's an essence to this movie. It gives off a feeling, an energy, an aura, which in turn gave me a feeling of belonging. No, I'm not lonely, don't ask. But please don't forget to like and subscribe. The soundtrack song choices in this movie, I'm normally not into all the new stuff being produced these days. The new pop songs, maybe 2 out of 10 of them I actually like. You can call me an old soul, it doesn't bother me. However, the soundtrack in this movie had my shoulder jiving, my head bopping, made me want to look it up on Spotify. And the score itself by none other than Hans Zimmer adds so much to the movie. How could it not? It swells in the emotional moments, exhilarating during the bombastic, adrenaline racing moments. The man can do this stuff in his sleep at this point. And for a movie that has a runtime of 2 hours and 35 minutes, I swear to you all, this movie races to the finish line faster than you can say new franchise. I cannot remember a dull moment in this movie. When a movie is this long and this good and you get the feeling, damn, is it done already? Credits are almost here, we don't stay longer, going round in circles faster and faster than the other guy? I don't want to go! Why isn't my screen doing that around the world thing for the next episode? What happens next? Come on, people! That goes to show you that the pace of the movie was executed to near perfection. I could have been in this world 3 hours easy. Now, when it comes to the negatives of this movie, it's kind of interesting. They almost don't factor into my scoring of this movie in any way. The negative I would say is that a movie like this is going to have cliches, is going to have certain things that you've seen in other movies, story beats that you just can't really escape, like I talked about at the start, but it doesn't bother me. Movies will always and forever keep recycling all these story beats from every genre imaginable, again and again and again. The surprise and unexpected enjoyment comes when you do the absolute best with it. And this movie does that. If I had to reach for a negative for the sake of the video, I'd say since I'm a big movie score guy and I listen to them constantly, my 25 most played on iTunes, 21 of them are movie scores. It's just how I roll. I'd say maybe the score in isolation, when it's sort of integrated into the movie scenes, lacks a bit of that oomph as opposed to other Hans Zimmer scores, which I listen to a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. But in time, it could be something that I start to appreciate more by itself. But like I said, I am reaching. It doesn't play into my overall thoughts on the movie whatsoever. Because this movie, as of now, is my very first 10 out of 10 for my channel. Will it go down with multiple viewings? I doubt it, because I'm really looking forward to seeing it again as soon as I can. I enjoyed a ton about this movie. I would recommend it to everyone. If you're opposed to going to the cinema for whatever reason, and you really want to stay at home and you don't want to venture out, make sure you catch it when it's out for streaming. Since it's an Apple production, make sure it goes to the top of the top 10 list worldwide. It deserves it. If there's any movie this year that deserves it, F1 does. But if there is one movie you should go out to the cinema for this year, this is that movie. If it's still playing and you haven't seen it, I guarantee you'll have a great time. But I would love to know what all of you thought about it. Am I overpraising it? Overhyping this movie too much? I don't think so. I think I'm right on the money. And what's your favorite racing movie? Do some of you not care for racing movies at all and skip this entirely? You should definitely change your mind about that. Go watch it. I swear it's good. Like I said, let me know in the comments. I would love to know. Please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, push that notification bell to be alerted for my next video. And as always, peace, love, and I'll see you when I see you.